The DeFi Professor.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Monday, December 5th. This is the Work With Me stream. This is a stream where I pretty much do some research work for the newsletter that I put out for our Beacon DeFi communities. I have a Den.show fan club, and well, if you pay for the fan pass, you'll get some special stuff, but you also get a piece of some of these reports that I'm doing specifically for this, because there's only so much I'm going to put in to the regular one. But for those who are in the fan show, you'll get some extra stuff. So if you're interested, go to den.show/csoriano and get the fan pass. Appreciate them for being so nice to me. Well, here's the thing about streaming. If you guys don't know, I use StreamYard for the majority of my stuff with regards to anything Beacon related. But I mean, it's $90 a month, actually $95 a month to do this. And frankly, we're kind of looking for something different, right? Don't get me wrong, StreamYard's great. It's been a great home. I've been a StreamYard user for like almost a decade. It's been a long time. I've used it for my personal stuff, brought all the Beacon stuff in. And yeah, gonna try something different for a little bit. Maybe we come back to StreamYard, because there's a lot of good things about StreamYard that are very, very nice. In fact, I actually was trying to set up Ecamm Live, and I realized it was going to take a little bit more time than I thought. So yeah, that did not happen today. I was setting up for the last hour. I'm like, clearly I should have just done this morning or last night, but I had some errands and stuff pop up, and you kind of know how that goes. There will be no show for the next week and a half after today, mainly because I'm where the holidays are coming, traveling for the holidays, and next Monday will be a traveling day. So no stream next Monday, but hopefully streaming past that, around there. And if it is, it's going to be in a different spot. It'll be shorter, and it'll just be some specific things. I am going to be featured on Retake for specific streaming. And if you are doing the specific, well, I need to figure out exactly when I'm streaming, to be quite honest. Working with the team to find that out. Let me check my messages just in case it's not there. Oh, Retake misses. I guess I need to check to see if I've been featured by the intern. Wow, one random streamer gets 5 million retake. That's nice. All chatters get 100,000 retake on these days. So for the next 12 days, I'm going to try and have as much content during that stream. Not exactly sure when my time is going to be, but it'll probably be a super stream where it's not only just, I mean, if it's going to be Wednesday, which I'm thinking it might be Wednesday, it'll be, we'll do it during the TVL podcast, and then keep the show going afterwards, to just kind of talk a little bit more, kind of like after the show. Like last week I did a post podcast kind of deal. So yeah, should be interesting. I don't have any information on that outside of that. Well, let's get on with the show. So yeah, I'm gonna be moving some stuff. Paused on StreamYard. This is I think I have until tomorrow on StreamYard. Then it's paused for a couple of months while I start moving some stuff around. We may come back to StreamYard, honestly. I mean, there's a lot of good things, a lot of like retro things specifically with StreamYard that are good. One second. There are some things I did want to talk about specifically. Let me grab. Let me grab a link that someone had sent me. And I don't want to put them on blast, mainly because I feel kind of bad. So there is a message. I mean, rather a video that's going out. I'll put it here. It's quite loud. Okay. Let me share this. All right. So there's this video. And here's the thing. It looks like it's on the Solana. I think it actually is on the actual Solana YouTube channel. This is pretty crazy. Let me get to the special part. Basically, if you send a minimum of 10 sol to this address, they will send you double it back. Guys. Two things wrong with this. First off, so there's 269,000 subscribers, probably mostly bots, to this channel. Yeah, the username of this is Solana, and I'm not sure exactly how they were able to get all these. I can't imagine that this is the actual Solana channel. Let's look. Like, does Solana have an actual YouTube channel? I don't think that they do. Let's find out. Let's go to the bottom. Okay, there's the. Yeah, the actual Solana channel only has 91,000 subscribers. So, please, if you see this video, That's not it. This video. It is not legitimate. They are not doing a giveaway for double sol. This is one of the oldest tricks in the book, to be quite honest. And you really should not be doing this ever. Ever. So yeah, this is not legitimate. There is no sol event on YouTube. They are not giving out double. If you send money here, you are just kissing it goodbye. It is not coming back. It is not affiliated with Solana or anything like that. So please, please do not. Do not send your money here. I want to give a shout out to the person who sent this to me. Unfortunately, they are not getting their money back. I should probably double check. Let me just message them on. Let me just message them on here real quick. Okay, so yes, do not do these schemes. If someone says, send me 1 ETH or whatever, and I'll send you 2 back, that's never legitimate. I know that some people say that it's absolutely legitimate. Look at all these comments saying these are all people who don't really exist. I literally triple checked the smart contract and still didn't believe it, but it worked. No, you couldn't have done that. Okay, so yeah, these are the bad types, the really bad types of scams that you don't want to be involved with, because they're just there to extract, and that's the saddest part. It's just there to extract. You're never you know there's it's just sickening the actual utility of why people will scam people specifically for stuff like this. So anyway, we're a bit late on the start. I want to go ahead and get back into the articles. Again, I apologize for the delay in time. I was running some errands, and then I was like, you know what? Let's see if we can get Ecamm Live up and running. We did not get Ecamm Live and up and running very quickly. It'll be ready for the next time I stream, most likely sometime after Christmas. But hopefully everyone's doing well. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you have a great weekend. The crypto market is pretty sad right now. These are one of those days when you see the market and you just kind of sigh and turn off the screen. Ultimately, there's a couple reasons why this is happening. And I have mentioned Japan multiple times. I don't necessarily think that this is directly caused by the Bank of Japan hiking rates, but it's going to solve a general pattern of people literally just de-risking and selling. Now, is this one of those events where paper hands are being shook out and suddenly we're going to get a big boost upward? It could be. We also kind of need to see exactly what happens with President Trump, because the last thing, besides his sons talking about how there's going to be a huge Bitcoin revolution, how this is so great, the reality is that the US is looking to bully their way into Venezuela. And at that point, now we're going to have to see exactly how oil, trade tensions, geopolitical movements around the world, they do affect how large people, market makers in this space, may feel about what's going on. Sometimes people hate the idea of the free market deciding. This is the free market somewhat deciding uh, where prices are going to sit. So, what do most people do in this case? Honestly, for us, the mission hasn't changed. We're still going to be grinding out yield farms. Granted, it's not going to be at 300%. It may not be at 30%, but we're still going to continue grinding out yields, profiting off the behavior of other investors, especially at a time where probably nobody else is going to be doing that. Traders are probably just going on vacation or something like that, and hopefully coming back to a spot where, and especially for those who are daring enough to take leverage, maybe they're already cooked. I mean, I've seen hundreds of millions of liquidations already. So let's look at the news. You'll have to bear with me. My allergies are on. Well, it's winter, it's dry. I'm allergic to everything in this state. So here we go. All right, let us Interesting. Anchorage Digital deepens RIA market push by acquiring unit of Securitize. Which unit of Securitize? Oh, okay. So they bought the investment advisor portion of Securitize specifically for. Oh, interesting. This is a decent move. Shout out to Nikki Sanders. May have to ask her about this. If it really affects a whole lot of things. Institutionally, sure. But well, we've had our close signals. It's not good when we get a closing signal like that. We'll see exactly where we go. Unfortunately, we're kind of at the mercy of where holders want to defend, right? Kind of big news here. JP Morgan has a tokenized money market now on Ethereum mainnet. Um, it'll be exclusively available to qualified investors. Is that a real name? Jack Inabinet? Inabine, maybe. They're going to invest in short-term T-bills and repurchase agreements fully collateralized by U.S. Treasury securities. And that is one thing that can happen, right? If you're a big whale and you're not loving the crypto market, you may just go and invest in T-bills for a little bit. Nothing. I mean, we did that during crypto winter as well. So we'll see exactly what happens. December 17th is going to be interesting for Coinbase because they have their big product announcement, and we'll see exactly how Base kind of lives off the back of that. Solana dominates crypto attention for the second straight year. So this is interesting. BitTensor got beat out by Cardano. How is that possible? How's XRP Ledger beating out BitTensor? Shout out to BitTensor. They did do their first ever halving. Yep. That happened earlier today. Now we have roughly 1,458 days. That changes because of how recycles and other types of events affect what's going on. But now we're in an era where there is sort of 7,200 tau emitted every day. Now it's 3,600. So block emission is just 0.5 tau. We'll see how this works out. I think it could be, so far it seems to be, it could be a fairly bullish unlock. Congrats to them. South Korea misses stablecoin build deadline. Interesting. We'll see how that goes out. Oh, the SEC has a crypto roundtable today, by the way, with Chairman Atkins and crypto mom Hester Pierce. Oh, here he goes. He's pushing. Public blockchains are more transparent than any legacy financial system ever built. I tell you what, shout out to Chair Atkins, because if anything, he is a very staunch advocate, or at least he's been told to be a very staunch advocate of DeFi. By saying in his first report earlier this year that the DeFi's principles are deeply rooted in the core of American values, literally comparing it to the ideas that most Americans live by, which is the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness, right? He also said that every American should have the privilege of being in DeFi for self-custody and being their own bank. We'll see how this works out this coming year. Really? An 80% correction. I'm kind of curious to see what happens here. Let's just say that happens. And now we have I think there's 50 BTC treasury companies that would be underwater. It would pull down everybody else as well, because Bitcoin is the ship that raises all tides, right? All that. This would be a very interesting breakdown. I mean, how many people would go ramen to go and buy Bitcoin back at 25K? Probably be a lot. XRP also seeking below $2. So ultimately, it's about just riding it out. We're going to continue to grind yield, because that's the best way to do it, frankly. I would recommend, if you're not doing your traps to accumulate more BTC and ETH using concentrated liquidity, it's time to open those positions if you haven't already. Well, here we go. BNB falls below the support. That's another asset I think would be that I would consider DCing into. Not financial advice, of course, but BNB has all the seeds to go much higher. Not that this matters in terms of most people's schedules, but I'm not making a plea for Jesse Pollock to buy my creator coin, because frankly, I don't care. I'm going to make content regardless. But, Jesse went and bought some of his coin, roughly he does it in about $1,500 buys, right? Sometimes 500. It just depends. A lot of people were really upset about this because apparently Soldier Boy worked with Sahil Bloom and rugged a bunch of people with some meme coins, I think on Solana or Avalanche, one of the two. Wow, he did 16 NFT drops. 16. Dear God. Well, anyway, 73 token promotions and 16 NFT launches. And for what it's worth, Jesse doubled down and said, do you want to build an economy to please people on crypto Twitter, which is called CT, or a global economy? It's not a you know that's a take. That's a take for sure. A lot of this is just sliding lower, sliding lower. What are we looking at in terms of bubbles? Yeah, we're definitely going to be red. How are we looking on the week? On the week, we're okay. Still down, but month, year. It's funny. We're at the end of the year now, right? We're literally 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away. 2 weeks, right? Yeah, roughly from 2026. And looking back on the year, what do you think the narrative is going to be? Right? Uh, it's going to be very interesting, right? I think it's the year of, I mean, the year of US President Trump, the privacy meta, and Tether. Oh, there's a lot of things we can talk about. A lot of things we can talk about, actually. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different narratives that are here that are quite interesting. Hmm. All right, let's head back to the news. Not a ton to talk about today, apparently. We'll see. We can talk a little bit about the Solana stuff as well. Solana Breakpoint had a bunch of announcements. Really, Do Kwon could face a second trial in Korea after 15 years, assuming, man, if they extradite him to South Korea, he should stay in the U.S. prison. My personal opinion. Michael Egorov, 6.6 million CRV grant. What's interesting is he doesn't really own any CRV anymore. He did for a long time, and that caused a huge, like last year, there's a huge issue of just him being liquidated. Looks like he OTC'd, well, he OTC'd practically all of it to a bunch of people. Hmm. 6.6 million for the core development company behind Curve. How do you feel? I'm going to save this one for sure. How do you feel if you're a Curve holder about the idea of them having a grant specifically for more ecosystem development. Because let's be honest, Curve, yes, Curve is still there, but is Curve leading? I mean, when you think of yield and liquidity, is Curve the first thing you come up with these days? No, it's not. I mean, I'm on record for many years hating the UX and the UI of Curve, right? Oh my goodness. I am here. There I am. There I is. Clip me 1%. Shout out to Taylor Tavano from MetaMask and Seal. I did respond to this because this happened in July. I don't know if you guys remember that. I was, unfortunately, and this is just the nature of how it goes. But people reach out to me all the time. You know, I do, besides being a co-founder, I do all the BD for Beacon as well. So people will reach out to me wanting to come on the Wednesday podcast. People want to interview me, bring me on other quote unquote major podcasts. I've had people who say they represent Real Vision from Raul Paul, other big ones too, right? Saying, yeah, we'd love to have you. It's a great story. And I take all of that at mostly face value because, you know, as we're startup, we want traction. We're here to educate, spread awareness. We want to go through as many outlets as possible. But this happened because the gentleman who reached out to me to get on a call was someone I did meet at ETH Denver. We follow each other on Telegram. I don't follow him on Twitter, and that's where he was warning everybody, hey, I got compromised on Telegram. Someone may be reaching out to you. I wouldn't have seen that because I don't follow him on Twitter. But if you go check out my personal Twitter, I have a whole post on this with my thoughts as of yesterday. And yeah, this is a real problem. There I am. I'm screenshotting this, homies. Frame this and send to my mama. There I am. We made it. We've made it. I did get to tell. That was the one thing, is no one really knew the story, so I did respond to Taylor's post with, with the whole story about how that happened. Just be very careful out there, guys. Firstly and first and foremost, please do not, if you're in the business of taking meetings, if they tell you to download something, that's a no-go. That's a no-go. Zoom, Google Meet, maybe a Microsoft Teams, that's it. Web-based version, take the call on a mobile device or a non-admin profile on your computer where they can't have any access, even if you do download the payload accidentally. Turn off automatic downloads on all platforms. You should always have something prompt you on where to save it. That way you can actually see it. The other thing too that helped out is that I copy and pasted the link I think I did it into an incognito browser actually. That was the moment I knew. Like I sat there, I'm like, it was a Zoom, a quote unquote Zoom like interface. And had I looked at the URL closer, I would have seen it. But I sat there, I'm like, maybe this is, because I met this guy, super nice guy. And by the time I got there was like 3 images. I'm like, I don't remember that. But here's the interesting part too, is that I guess he was like in Eastern Europe or something, and we had set the original meeting up for 10 p.m. Thankfully, I had another issue, so I couldn't make it because we had a fire come up, so I rescheduled. I didn't get a new link sent to me, which I thought was fascinating. I'm like, huh, how come I didn't get a new link? So I went to the other link just to check it out, and that's when I saw the interface with his video was there, then it recycled to something else, and then the other 2 people, it's like, I know that, you see the name on there. I'm like, that's not someone named Allison Smith. I'm just like, and it's pretty good. It was a pretty good one. But never download the payload ever, ever, ever. Because I've seen some there's a couple of people, and I bookmarked it somewhere. Someone went ahead and actually analyzed the payload. It is nasty. You don't want anything to do with that. But yeah, Taylor Monahan at MetaMask, legend in this space. Seal is a legend in this space for security. Uh, yeah, that really I was really actually very very humbled by the fact that I was put on there, and hopefully this I'd love to work with them down the line, because obviously we're all about education and awareness. So anything we can do to spread the word on this, happy to do so. I did as well. I retweeted what I posted in July. I've seen some people also retweet that. Spread that around. We don't want anybody being exploited by things like this in our space. It's unfortunate that it's already happened multiple times. Uh, but yeah, wow, they've done 300 million on this already. That's crazy. That's great. I was hoping that was me, and it is. This is also available as an NFT on Zora. I coined it, so if you want it, feel free to buy it. Let me see exactly where. Yep, I'm going to shamelessly plug myself. Zora.co at the DeFi Professor. It is, well, I do a lot of things here. It's right there. There it is. No market cap. If you want it, go get it. I did this 5 months ago. Yeah, it was in July. I'll do that after we get off. Anyway, that's nice. Anything I can do to help people from getting yoinked, I'm happy to do. Just make sure. I just have some chat messages here, so I just want to make sure that I'm not missing something. Okay. Trump's voice would have no weight in rate decisions, says says Kevin Hassett, the front runner for the Fed chair. Lies, lies, lies. Please don't tell me someone believes this. The idea that Trump would ideally want the federal funds rate to be below 1%. We'll see what happens. Meme coins were never about memes or jokes or financial nihilism. It's the underlying technology and its implications that are promising. Murad, how do you feel about this, brother? This is the president of MoonPay, Keith Grossman. I mean, he's not wrong, right? Because at this point, thanks to what Kalshi is doing with Solana, Polygon is doing with Polymarket, you can tokenize practically anything that's an event at this point. So there's your new meme coins, guys. Right? There are a couple of projects. I think Project Friday this was on Solana, probably like 8 months ago. They were trying to create an AI agent that would take current events or crazy events that happened and tokenize them into Solana meme coins on pump.fun. Just to help with the memetics of it all, right? I don't think they've gone anywhere at this point, and frankly, there's not much left to do now that this has happened. Okay, let's keep going. BPO1 upgrade for blob capacity. This is from Fusaka. That's good to see. That's actually happening. Shout out to everybody in the retake chat. Shout out to Tashin, to Gerald, and Greatness. Yeah, it's interesting because Greatness is a great. Then I don't have a way to pop up the chat here, but uh, prediction markets being the best product market fit in crypto right now. Yeah, I mean it's one of them, right? I think product market fit for crypto is in perp dexes as well as concentrated liquidity and AMMs, the new loans, institutional loans coming from crypto and fraction based liquidity. I love the idea of Figure. I guess it's called Prime now on Camino on Solana, where you can own a piece of a tranche of HELOC loans that are actually from Figure. Uh, I think that's a great use case. Being able to own a piece of being a creditor, I guess would be the word for different loans that are out there. Who did I talked to somebody who was talking with I guess in Texas. After a certain amount of time, people can come in to buy part and be fractional owners of loans, like car loans. I think that's a cool idea. Being able to bring anything like that with like credit default swaps and all that type of stuff online, I think would be very good for at least investors from around the globe, right? Because there's a couple of projects, right? Like CoreDAO has a specific on blocks.gg. There's a couple of apartment complexes that have NFTs. And as long as you hold an NFT, you have fractional ownership in the rent for one of those apartments. I think it's like 7% APY or something like that, based off of the operations of it all. And it's a cool idea, right? So I think real estate as well as prediction markets, very simple. Is it the one thing that will bring the everyday user back in? I don't know, mainly because there's no guarantee well, I'm not going to say no guarantee. Most people won't know where the infrastructure comes from, right? For the whole year, past 3-4 years, we've had sports betting pretty much allowed, right? DraftKings, it's changed the way ESPN presents sports, right? Like in terms of like covering bad beats and now it's like there's gambling everywhere, right? We just had Chauncey Billups and a couple of other NBA not only coaches but people in this huge ring for gambling. Um, how can I put this? Gambling and crypto have gone together well for years, right? Back in the day, and frankly, the reason why there's so many poker players that were OG founders is because the only way you could play on Poker Stars was with Bitcoin, right? And some of these other things because it was non-sovereign, anyone can get into it, that type of thing. That's obviously changed, right? But that doesn't mean that I do think prediction markets there'll be something big, right? At some point, I was talking to a couple of people to the past couple months about when we do our podcast, having prediction markets show up on stream. I think it's still something we're going to try and do. I don't know the best way to do it, but the ability to have live in podcast prediction markets up where people can go and I mean, there's a slippery slope on that. Do I want that type of activity on my podcast? I don't know. It's not a bad idea, but do I want that? I'm not sure. Yeah, so Polygon going with Polymarket, Solana going with Kalshi. Uh, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. We'll see exactly what happens. Right now, the market just looks like absolute booty kicks, but we'll see how this all plays out. 2026 is going to be very interesting, and we'll see specifically where this goes. So, but back to the article. Fusaka with BPO1. This is blob capacity per block. This should open up a lot of throughput and probably better for L2s specifically because they're going to be using these blobs thanks to protodank sharding to Denkun. There we go. That was the one I was looking for yesterday or the other day. But this has happened. This has been on the roadmap for a while. So this should hopefully uh, provide better data availability. Should be cheaper, and we'll see specifically how this works with ZK powered networks because they're the most expensive way to do transactions right now because they have to use compute for proving the zero knowledge proof that comes along with every transaction. Uh, the trade-off is cost through optimistic rollups, which you have a 7-day challenge period, they just send it through, as opposed to ZK where it's instant finality and settlement when it's proven. So there's that. All right, this is a very long article. I will save that because I don't know if anybody in my group will actually want that, but maybe for anybody who buys the token, who's part of the group that way through either the fan pass at den.show, or if I don't know if the Zora group chat is still a thing. If that's still a thing, anyone who buys enough of the Zora coin to get into the group chat will also get access to some of these news articles moving forward. That's part of the roadmap because I want to try and provide as much value for you guys who support me as possible. Yo Labs, this will be interesting for Yo. I'm not going to cover the Aave thing. We'll see exactly what happens. But this is where DAOs can be. Are DAOs broken at this point? Because they don't have the traction that we thought they would, right? That's kind of the problem. Now, if you're a DAO that's a Duna, which is a decentralized, unincorporated, I don't forget what the N stands for, association, which is practically a legal DAO in the state of Wyoming. There's that, but you have to come back to the idea that founders and company heads are willing to provide everything that is protocol related to the DAO, and that's kind of the issue with the Aave piece right now. Mark Zeller with Aave, with one of the largest delegates, they're quite upset over the fact that Aave switched from PairSwap to CowSwap because of that. And this is where the possible bureaucratic red tape of having a DAO could be a problem. I'm sure they will settle this and figure this out. But this is some of the messy stuff that can happen with DAOs. We'd love the idea of, I mean, I think in theory, most of us love the idea of a DAO, right? I come in, I buy some governance token. Now I have a piece of ownership of the protocol. Whatever happens with the protocol, I will have that effect. I can at least take pride in the ownership. Now, to be fair, this sets it up for being a plutocracy, right? Whoever owns the most coins gets the biggest part of the decision. But this means, just like if you want to use Big Daddy from Adam Sandler as an example, if you have one share, you have a voice in the company. So this is no different than that, but we'll see exactly what happens. Let me come back to the screen. Yep. As I was talking about at the top of the hour, this is going to be interesting to see exactly how and this is interesting because we talk about the butterfly effect, right? It's always been like, if something happens in Japan, can you feel that all the way across the world? And it's always been a metaphorical type of thing. But with the yen carry trade, with the yen being so cheap to borrow and being a linchpin of how a lot of global wealth was spread, that started to unwind over most of this year. The fact that they've been raising rates consistently while still being one of the largest holders of U.S. Treasury bills, and now signaling they may sell some. Let's see how this plays out. I've always been the advocate saying that Japan's movements here have been bigger events with affecting how people look at risk than you think. And yeah, I was right. I'm not taking credit for this, obviously, but to me, this is, in my observation, the Bank of Japan, even with their yield curve control stuff, they've been doing all kinds of things. They've been testing a digital yen for years now. well before Bitcoin, before DeFi was a thing. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Are we going down to 25K like some people have said? I don't think so. I mean, I'm catching as much BTC on the way down if that's the case. There's no Christmas at this. I'm kidding. No Christmas anymore if Bitcoin drops to 25K. We are buying nothing but Bitcoin. All right. The SEC issues a crypto custody warning. Know the risks before you store. This is something we talk about daily, and we have for the past 5 years. Yeah, this is nothing new. Now, companies like Dynamic, like Privy, others that have created these smart contract account wallets, these SCAs that help you out by you don't need to know the seed phrase, you just need to know the private key. Also, the same level of responsibility there. The part that's going to be hard for most people is if I am having self custody, am I prepared for the burden of the security piece? Yeah, it's great to be free and be able to. I mean, this is no different than someone who does like mattress money or burying money in the yard in a glass jar. You are worried that someone will know you've done it, right? So you have to do everything in your power to keep all of that secure. Whatever privacy things that you have, take advantage of them. If anything, this is the last 2 weeks of the year. Use now, especially with kids being out of school, you're around family with the holidays, probably not a whole lot going on. Use it to really just get your house in order, specifically for the purpose of just making sure that you have everything you need. I'm actually thinking about doing a stream specifically on this to just get everybody to get their house in order before the end of the year. That way you're walking into 2026 with everything hopefully buttoned up and taken care of. Because the last thing you want is to forget a seed phrase, lose a seed phrase, and then you're worse off than someone trying to recover Bitcoin on a USB drive from like 2004. Okay. Okay. So this is nothing new. SEC, come give me a call. I'm happy to talk with you guys on how we can push the distribution on this because people need to know. Why Michael Saylor wants nations to build Bitcoin banks. I mean, I walked the floor in Vegas in April at Bitcoin 2025. There's a lot of banks. There's a lot of people doing Bitcoin and banks that you guys don't know about. A lot of people. Like there was a whole section of the floor for people offering loans up to $1 million on Bitcoin, if you can believe that. You have Bitcoin collateral, you can borrow up to $1 million depending on a couple other things. I'm all thinking, should I do that? Oh. Okay. Gross. What a terrible take that is. An executive Vanguard likens Bitcoin to digital boo-boo. That's a silly ass take. I would hope there's an ETF inflow streak. It just came out. Good for them though. XRP reaching for a 1 billion milestone for XRP ETFs. Now again, these are not in-kind redemptions, so there's just people just playing off the exposure of this. I challenged Ripple and Brad Garlinghouse via Twitter. I know it means nothing for most people. Who am I? I'm just a voice on Twitter, on the internet. They need to do something to actually get people to care about XRP in terms of just not just holding it. Because if you think everyone's just going to hold it and that's going to be the what's going to push XRP forward, that's not going to be it. You need people to use XRP. This hidden road thing where they spend $1 billion to acquire, they're going to have to start doing something with them. And I'm sure they will. But are they going to have the same benefit or at least the same result as Chainlink for being so quiet? I don't know. We'll see. And they might be thinking in years. But again, you got to keep the hype and the benefit of XRP up, because XRP isn't the only currency that you can trade in using Swift and FedNow and some of these other things across the globe. In fact, you could make the argument that HBAR is a better asset for that because privacy is built in. Pardon my nose. I'm allergic to everything in this state. Okay. So there is a crypto custody guide. I need to grab that. Not that, I mean, we teach on that all the time, so I don't necessarily need that, but it's good to just compare and just be validated on what we've talked about for years at this point. Hell, they may have taken it from something I've posted in blogs 3 or 4 years ago. It's amazing what lives on the internet. Interesting. Pudgy Penguins got on the Las Vegas Sphere, but Ansem couldn't get Doge? Shame. Shame. Yeah, so Solana ETFs are going to continue to get ETF inflows. Frankly, the 25 to 30 things that I just kind of put together, and I haven't done a stream to go through it. I'm going to do a stream to go through all of this stuff at some point this week. You gotta be impressed with Solana, what Solana's doing with just the Kalshi stuff. You've got multiple, like Wisdom Tree and a couple other institutions wanting to bring their stuff to Solana. The new things that Camino is doing with institutions and RWAs, off-chain oracles. I could keep going, but Solana had a lot of really positive announcements from Solana Breakpoint in Abu Dhabi from this past week. Coinbase creating its own shadow DEX to list all of the Solana assets on Coinbase.com. Nutty. XRP, thanks to Layer Zero, coming to Solana. Also nutty. This is not something I would have thought would have happened at the end of 2025 had you told me this 2 years ago, even 1 year ago. I was like, these people are too ingrained in having their own ecosystems. No one's ever going to talk to each other. And we've seen a huge 180 on that. And maybe it's just the survival saving face tactic. Who knows? But this is good overall for XRP. Look what it did for PayPal. PayPal was dying on ETH mainnet. They couldn't even get more than 40 million on Ethereum mainnet. Now they're like at 3 billion, thanks to migrating and expanding to Solana. So maybe that's what XRP is hoping for. We're just going to have to see. Structure bill may slide to January. Okay. Circle and Ripple got their OCC licenses. This is positive news as well, because this means that they're going to be able to have banking rails and also have, well, is this posturing? Because the writing is definitely on the wall now for banks. If it wasn't before, I mean, it's right in front of your face now. Now that Paxos, Circle, and Ripple and Coinbase on the way with an OCC license. Also, I think Tether did the USAT thing instead. But the idea that these digital entities can now have full banking after years of everyone poo-pooing on the system, these people are coming for your lunch, guys. So if you're a banker, and I have bankers in my family that don't want to talk to me about crypto. Oh, buddy. Believe me, people want lower fees, but they will take better returns all day long. And guess what has better returns than banks? Everything in crypto, everything in DeFi. I shouldn't say crypto, everything in decentralized finance. I could get a better rate supplying an NFT on Blend. That's so sad now that I think about it. I could lend my NFT for a better rate than what I get out of my savings account. Can you believe that? Gerald, I don't think I'm down with the flu. I took allergy medicine. I didn't do my nasal spray before I came on stream, which I normally do. I was stuck in a loop trying to get Ecamm live working for an hour. I couldn't make it work, but I do have a specific immunity stack. I'll share it with you guys. So allergy sprays, multivitamin, zinc, vitamin C, lots of vitamin D3, K2 and D3 to help with the absorption. I think I said zinc already. And if I have any type of lion's mane or mushroom complex, I also take that. That's been very helpful for me, specifically when I go to conferences, because ugh, you thought public school events were petri dishes. Man, oh man. Yeah. Wash your hands, guys, because not everybody does. Let me just put it that way. Yeah. So all of these guys have it. BitGo, by the way, they're the main custody people behind Prime Trust and also WBTC. So Paxos has already had one. They had one through Anchorage, who's one of the members of the Global Dollar Initiative. Yeah, there's like 35 different institutions who are part of that. So they can actually, through their USDG stablecoin, all earn revenue through that. And Anchorage has its hands in multiple stablecoin baskets. So Anchorage was the first institution in the Biden era to get a money license in all 50 states. So they've had the access to do this for years. So this is a good sign. This is what digital assets specifically need. Are you okay? Are you okay? Sorry, my daughter just slipped and fell going up the stairs. 1 second. All right, I think she's okay. Kids, they're resilient. You know, you could cut their legs off and they'll be fine. I mean that in the nicest way possible. My daughter was running up the stairs and she just biffed it, just ate it right at the top of the landing. I'm like, what? Okay. Yeah, so I think this coming year we're going to see more OCC licenses come out, which will just throw a lot of this digital asset stuff into the forefront. Then we're going to see, businesses taking advantage of digital asset returns. Stable coins are going to come to light that are going to be useful specifically for digital assets in DeFi, whether it be through USDE, USDC, USDT, the American version of Tether, which is USAT, and there will be USDG, PayPal USD. There will be stable coins everywhere at some point, and you won't have to actually have money in your bank account anymore. The number of people going bankless is going to rise like you wouldn't believe, because they're going to have easy access to it. Now, do we still want to be able to go to somewhere that doesn't rely on electricity and an internet connection to get money? Yes, of course. When you're in crypto, whenever you're investing, you should have a diversified list of liquid assets. You should not be what we call tits long in crypto, ever. That's just not a smart play. Although there are plenty of people who do it, where they're 100% in crypto. And I'm like, please don't do that. At least have 50% in something else, whether it's real estate, dividends, mutuals, whatever else that doesn't get nearly as good of a return. You got to diversify the bad guys. Okay. Nothing else really here to really show that is really crazy. I will bring back that video again, because I think there's a couple more people that are watching the feed, and this is really just for awareness. There is a video on, well, this is the actual Solana YouTube account. This one is from someone else. And what did I do with it? Is it here? Yes. Let me go to this one. There. Yeah, this is not the official Solana YouTube account, guys. 269,000 subscribers. It's crazy, right? The moment I knew it wasn't, because I click here and the username is so one on a that's not the Solana YouTube account. They don't have the same, and it looks legitimate if you kind of look here, but they don't have anything from Breakpoint. They don't have anything new on here. And I know Solana does much more than that. If we look at Solana's current YouTube channel, they have all of the YouTube, the live streams from Breakpoint, which just happened, all of these things. This is not legitimate. If you find a video, guys, that tells you that if you send, and this is just sad, frankly, 10 sol minimum, and you're going to get double of it back. Guys, this is the oldest scheme in crypto. Please do not do it. Okay? I know a couple people who have already fallen prey to this, and they're not getting their money back. Yeah, this is not real. I've had to respond to people on Twitter saying, "Is this real?" No, it's not real. I mean, I even called out Solana in a tweet, just saying, "Hey guys, don't know if you know about this. There's a channel out here with 269,000 subscribers posing as you, putting this shit out here. It's not real. You don't want to get caught up in something like this. If it looks too good to be true, it most likely is if you're not doing your due diligence. Please do not send 10 sol to this address. You are never going to get it back. Regardless of what the comments are going to say to you, Sophia-E5G40 says, honestly, didn't even believe it even after I saw the sol land. Just kept staring at the balance. What balance? It's going to be 0. Mira Abdurakhmanova. Thought I was late AF, but got in just in time. Sol came back doubled. 3 subscribers joined a year ago. Interesting. Fatma Salah -NR2IO, because that's a username people choose. Can't believe I joined in late. Sent in 16 and got it doubled. Let's go. Where's the small one? Did a small test. Did a small test. 10 sol is not a small test. I don't care how much money you have. 10 sol is not an inanimate amount. It's not a small amount of money. It's still a lot of money. It's $1,000, guys. Man. Don't do it. Simple as that. Don't do it. Not legit. I can say it in Spanish. No es verdad. No. How about French? Ce n'est pas vrai. C'est très mal. Tu ne prends jamais. Yeah, that's all I got. All right, let's go to Google News. All right. What do we have here today? We already talked about the JP Morgan fund. That's good. Visa launches stablecoins advisory practice. Definitely need that. The Economist, the crypto's real threat to banks. What do you think it is, brother? You tell me in the comments, what's the real threat to banks? Not going to know because you got to pay for The Economist. But yes, please do not. The SEC was tough on crypto, pulled back after Trump returned to office. Could it be because he owns so much crypto? Tether offers to buy Juventus, the Italian soccer club, and they rejected the 1.2 billion takeover offer. Interesting. I mean, it's their club. They can do what they want with it, I suppose. Hostile takeover, possibly. Who knows? Tether made $7.9 billion in Q3 this year. This is pocket change to them. In fact, I think they own the most gold as an entity now in the world, or something like that. They're top 20 for US T-bills owners owned as well. Crypto scams cause $1 million losses in Austin, part of a global problem. What crypto scam did they get? Oh, yes. The customer service scam. Yeah, the pig butchering, right? A scammer will then instruct the victim to deposit cash into a cryptocurrency ATM to protect their funds. My goodness, are people really falling for this? That is so unfortunate. The fees on these these Bitcoin ATMs are ridiculous. Oh my gosh. I'm pretty much yelling in my basement. I apologize to everybody in my house. Oh wait, Google News. Crypto winter could spur Darwinian phase, which means there's tests for survival for digital asset treasury companies. Senate banking will not vote on the crypto bill this week. Well, there we go. Not happening. Llama feed. DeFi Llama. Nothing we don't already know. Slide, slide, slide. Everybody slide. Wow, Coinbase did a most influential profile on both Todd Blanche and Zach XBT. Congrats to them. And Pavel Durov and his abs and 500 children. Shout out to all three of you. You're right, greatness. On-chain data is public. Banks rely on opacity. With that said, there's a big movement for privacy, right? Is that something that will ever be given to institutions? Yeah, probably through Hedera, but that'll be all fully controlled and centralized. So nothing specifically DeFi related. That would be the one thing. So there's a couple of things that I'm specifically looking at moving forward. Number one, obviously, what Bank of Japan's going to do. Number two, what's going to happen in Hong Kong, specifically with IPOs and stuff like that. And the third is going to be what happens with Robinhood, because Robinhood has a very interesting role in all of this. They're opening up DeFi, but CDeFi, centralized DeFi. They're going to have a layer 2 built on top of Arbitrum with a full whitelist on what's going to happen, just like Sony's L2 on the OP Superchain called Sonium. Sony also applied for an OCC license, by the way. That's something that I forgot to talk about a couple of weeks ago. That's going to play a big part too. So we'll see what happens here. I'm still really bullish on everything moving forward. There's a lot of money in play here, and I think, and even as terrible as this sounds, they're going to figure out a way to make it work because Trump's not going down like that. He's been making the market go down like that, but he himself is not going to go out like that. He's got a ton of money in the space. Look at what happened 2 days after the inauguration. They bought a truckload of every major crypto and blue chip out there, right? I think 4.7 million because he's the 47th president of the big 7. So yeah, that's all that we have here. I don't think there's anything new. But yeah, I like the idea of doing a security get your house in order stream. We'll see if we can get some people together for that. And also for yeah, specifically just for moving forward. Again, we won't have this stream next Monday. I'll be traveling for Christmas. First time I've done that in, well, 15 years. It's been a long time. So this will be nice. So I'm taking a little bit of the setup. I'm not taking everything, but I'll be taking most of it. I don't think I'll see if I'll have time to stream. We'll see. But I'm going to try. I'm chronically online, so we'll see how that rolls out. That's all we have for today. Thanks for joining me here on the research stream. Again, work with me is what this is called. I'm going to put this together into the newsletter we have for our Beacon Digest for our Beacon Mastermind members. Again, if like I said, I want to definitely reward people who are supporting by buying either the retake coin, buying the Zora coin, or even getting the fan pass at Den.show, which is on base. A couple of things that we're going to be putting on in 2026 specifically. We're doing the professor's note stuff, which I'm going to come around and do a bunch of profiles on as many protocols as I can. Something that you may want to be looking into if you're looking for some new places to find some yield. An audition to see if that's something that you like. There's going to be the professor's journeys. I'm building some custom journeys to get to specific protocols. That's all still under wraps. But I do want to include some of this research that I'm doing today into something that you all can get a part of too. I don't know if I want to do a newsletter. I could, but I don't know. But I will be doing something for anyone who buys the token, buys the fan pass, obviously for supporting me. I want to obviously reward you for that. So feel free to sign up for any of that stuff, and I'll put some stuff together. So with that said, have a great rest of your day. We'll be back on Wednesday for TVL show, the last one of the year. I've got 2 really great guests. I have Jirachi from Drosera, who's on panel, and I also have Mike Kitt from Netcoins, the Canadian CX. These are 2 fantastic, brilliant minds in our space, guys. I'm excited to just break down the entire year with them and just really what they're seeing for 2026. Obviously, we'll talk about the news that's going on. A lot to break down and unpack from Solana Breakpoint, as well as Bitcoin Mena. Even though Bitcoin Mena, which is Bitcoin Middle East, North Africa, which was in Abu Dhabi just before Breakpoint. A lot of institutions. I was told by a bunch of people it was okay. There's just a lot of suits, which it is what it is, right? Would Satoshi be rolling over in his grave? I suppose. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time. 07.